good afternoon, wherever you all are joining us from. Would love to know. You can introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're dialing in from. If you have any fun 4th of July plans coming up, if you're joining us from the US. We'll give another couple of minutes for people to join on in. Hi, Ruben from El Salvador. Amazing. Don, close by in St. Louis. Got Marie in Boston. I am just outside the Seattle area, but yeah, we're headquartered in St. Louis here at Balto. Yeah, look at everyone. All right. Well, as we all continue to introduce ourselves, let me tell you a little bit more about me. My name is Kimberly Deinhardt. I am the new growth marketing manager here at Balto, and I am going to be heading up our live sessions and webinars just like this. I'm very excited to hear from you all, whether it is today in the chat or later. I can drop in my email if there are any particular webinar topics you would love for us to cover. This session is going to be recorded, and I'll send out the recording shortly. And we are also going to have a Q&A at the end. So I know you've all found the chat. The Q&A is in the same section. Just toggle between the chat and the Q&A throughout our session today, and we'll be sure to answer those at the end. And yeah, I know you're not here to see me, you're here to see our founder and CEO, Marc. So without further ado, I would love to bring Marc up on stage with me.
Hey, Kimberly, thank you so much. Awesome. And for everybody in the audience, great to see you as well. If this is the first time that you've seen me demo or present, nice to meet you. If you've seen me a million times, hope you're not sick of me. Really excited for our coaching webinar today. And we're going to focus specifically on some of the new AI coaching tools that Balto has built over the last couple months, and then give you all a sneak preview of where it is going. So I'm actually going to start by sharing my screen and give you all a little bit of background of like, why did we take the direction that we took with coaching? Because the direction that Balto took with coaching, I would say is a little different than what you've seen with a lot of folks in the space. You know, a lot of folks say, okay, we're going to make it standard coaching form, and you're going to pull it up, and we're going to show you the calls that QA sent you, and then you can coach on those calls, and you can write some documents, and then there'll be like some metrics about, hey, did you know when you coach an agent on professionalism, CSAC goes up by 4 points? That's like what a lot of the coaching is out there today, and we've taken a very different approach. So let me give you a background on why we've made some of the decisions that we've made. To start, just for folks who are not yet familiar, our mission is to power a new era of knowledge work in the contact center. The idea is that AI is turning contact center from grunt work into like true professional, strategic, impactful work. And we're seeing that more and more because you now have this power at your fingertips to communicate with customers at a massive scale or automate different pieces of your operation. So how do we end up empowering everyone who works in the contact center, giving you really cool AI tools to do your jobs better and faster? And we've been about this since we got started. This is a newspaper article. Folks remember what newspapers are from 2017. There's me and Chris, two of the founders, looking like, 24 years old, because we are. And then we have over 250 leading brands trust Balto, financial services, folks like Truist and Everbank in retail, Renewal by Anderson. Shout out to RBA. I know we got a bunch of RBA folks on this webinar today. And basically for brands that really care about getting the experience right, where there's a very high upside if you get it right. It could be, a client you retain, or a client that you appointment booked, or a sale that you make, where there's a really high upside, where the clients are very valuable and important to your business, and also sometimes a high downside of if the interaction doesn't go well, could lead to a complaint. It could lead to a regulatory compliance issue, where those customer interactions are really, really important, and the customers we do best with. So to start off, how did we think about building coaching? you need to start, of course, the problem that you're trying to solve, but you also need to start being realistic about what are the strengths of human and AI. So, if we said, what we're going to do, we're going to build a coaching bot that completely gets rid of your human coaches. No need for human coaching anymore. We're actually just going to have AI coach all your people automatically. It's going to figure out what they need to do, and it's going to give them the coaching. And then that's what we're going to build. That would probably be a misstep, because there are things that humans are especially good at and things that AI is especially good at. So let's think about like where we can really hone in on the strengths of both of the different systems, the human system, AI system. Well, what do humans have? First of all, context. You know your human agents. You know the frontline agents. You know who they are. You know about their backgrounds. You know about their career progressions. You know what it sounds like when they're having a good day versus not a good day. You might know like what they do in their personal lives and what they do for fun. You know like their bad habits and the things that they tend to do again and again. Like you have a lot of context. AI doesn't have that unless your employees come in and it says, hey, write a 30-paragraph essay on, everything about your personal life, so I, as the AI, can get to know you. Or speaking to this microphone for an hour and telling about your entire personal life, so the AI can get to know you, which we're not there yet. So you have a big advantage in context. You also have an advantage in experience. Many supervisors have either like been seeing the job done for a while, and most have actually done the job themselves for a while. So well, the internet says the best practice to handle this situation is to do X, but like, come on, I know that's not actually how it works, especially with our customer base and at our company. You can't just copy and paste best practices from the internet. So you have real experience that gives you additional information to be especially effective. You're not just using things that have been pre-trained into an LLM across millions of conversations in Reddit and who knows where. Lots of Reddit. And then the last is you have relationships. So you have context about how this person, this human that you're coaching is doing. You have experience, you've done the job before, and then that allows you to build a relationship where something that you say can carry more weight than something that an automated system can say, because you all know each other. You're coming in from a place of trust versus, oh, well, the AI said I need to do this. Like, that doesn't sound right. Like, you have the relationship. So those are places that humans are actually going to have an advantage for the foreseeable future. Like, AI is never going to physically be an agent, even though it will have, some sort of experience. AI is not going to have the same context and the full background of the human being, and AI is going to take some time before it gets to the ability to build relationships like we can. So then what can it do? What can AI do? Well, first of all, it operates at a scale that's just not physically possible for us. Like, we cannot listen to every single call for every single agent. We cannot be on every call. We cannot notate or analyze every single call and say, I'm going to find every weak point and every strong point on every different call that agents are doing. We can't do it. But AI can operate at a scale. AI also lives in data. We humans can access data. We can, put together spreadsheets or, different analyses or pivot tables, or even, using tools like Balto, ask questions using natural language about the data. So we can access it, but the AI lives in it. So that means that you have to have some sort of intuition about the question to ask. You have to kind of know where to look for the data. The AI can actually automatically surface what it finds in the data and just say, what are the patterns? And AI can actually determine what the patterns are and surface it. So we see human strengths and AI strengths, and we want to apply this sort of framework, this sort of thinking to coaching. Well, then now we want to say, well, what's the biggest lever? Right? And this is Archimedes, and he has that famous quote, give me a lever long enough and I shall lift the world. And the basic idea is, where can you find something where you really lean into that thing and it creates an awesome result, like an outsized result on the other side? And you kind of have two different, pathways here for what you could build. You could say better coaching or more coaching. Do we want to help people coach better, or do we want to help people coach more? Of course, the answer is both, but what's the lever? Well, you probably would say better coaching, right? Like, man, if you could give me the perfect data to coach that agent in right when they need it, and it just hits their brain in a way where they never forget it, that's the answer. But we know practically that's not actually how humans operate. People forget approximately 59% of what they learn after a single week and 90% of what they learn after a month, according to the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, which I know is controversial. If you're like a learning professional and you're like, hey, Ebbinghaus used a methodology where it was memorizing random numbers, you're right. But the principle holds. The principle holds that like a lot of the stuff that we are coached on, we forget. And it doesn't matter whether you deliver the perfect coaching or pretty good coaching, someone's going to forget it. So somehow you got to be in there more. You got to be in there. You got to be front and center. You got to be with the agents as much as you freaking can. So it seems like the answer is if you can deliver the same quality coaching that you can deliver today and just do it a lot more, like that's going to have a bigger impact based on how human psychology and memory works. So can we help you go faster? Can we help you coach faster so you can do more coaching? Let's think about how to do that. Well, we got to think about what are the various decisions, the various friction points that might slow you down. Is it figuring out which agents you should coach, figuring out what skills or behaviors you should coach on, or figuring out which calls you should coach? Where is the think time? Where does it take a while? Well, when it comes to which agents you should coach, the answer is usually pretty easy. There's performance data, right? So the answer is usually pretty simple. It is you go in and you find either your middle performers and you want to coach middle to top, or you find your bottom performers and you want to coach them up to the middle, but you have some sort of like, hey, these are the people who really need it. Or maybe you coach your top performers to help keep them motivated. But like you can use performance data as a guide, and usually it's right there front and center on a million dashboards and TVs. So that's not too difficult. So then how about which skills should I coach? Interesting. Like there is a world in which AI could analyze your data, figure out and say, this agent needs this skill. And I'm sure as we continue to build out Balto coaching, we will invest in that. But you know what is the original AI, like the original like pattern recognition? It's human intuition. That's the original like pattern recognition. It's like, you know, I didn't go through the problem like logically, like step by step by step by step. I just have been talking to this agent for a while and I know them and I know what they need to work on. I'm sitting there hearing their calls and I just know that they need to work on how, like, you know, not giving up when someone says, can I get a benchmark price before you send someone out? Like, I know that's what they need to work on. I hear them all the time. So that's like what I want to coach them on. So intuition actually tends to be a really good guide if you just go with it. Now, there's absolutely ways to do more database coaching, and we're going to keep investing in that, but that's not the lever. It's not the thing. How about which calls should you coach? This is an interesting one because most folks kind of just compromise and they say there's a bazillion calls that agents are taking. So I kind of have two options. Either one is I randomly dig and I just like go through calls and see if I can find something to coach on, or I know my QA team is scoring 4 calls a month. And since QA is scoring 4 calls a month, I'll just find like the worst call there and coach on that one. So QA scores tends to be like how people will tend to do that if you want to kind of do it efficiently and have some sort of heuristic. But is that the best way to coach on the thing that you need to coach on, right? Like, are you just going to have 1 of 4 calls? You find the one that's like missing. But what about the thing that you know they actually need to work on? So I think that's actually kind of a funny human fallacy, like a performance fallacy, where we want to just like take the shortcut and say, find me a QA call to coach on. But we know if you took a step back and said, let me think about it, what do I coach on? You're not coaching on the call that's an 84 because it's an 84 and you find something in there to make better. Like, you know, that agent needs to work on this thing. So you're kind of making a compromise. So what if we could solve that last one? What if we could show you, here's exactly what calls to coach on. You don't need to do random digging. And you're not just relying on 4 calls per month that are scored, you know, by your QA team, or 8 calls or however many they're scoring. You're not just relying on that. You're going right to the calls where the thing you want to fix happen. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's what we're going to be working on. I want to tell you all kind of a quick story, something that inspired me and our thinking for how we built this. It was something that happened in Christmas Eve in New York City in 2019. I was visiting a friend in New York City, and it's Christmas Eve. And you can imagine a lot of folks are trying to figure out something to do, or stay in or go out. And we wanted to book a dinner reservation. Turns out, in Christmas Eve in New York City, If you haven't booked something, good freaking luck getting a dinner reservation at that time. So a friend of mine, how did he do it? Well, he actually queued up a list of probably 25 or 50 different Chinese restaurants and just called through the line. And each call was like a minute or 30 seconds. And he calls and says, "Hi, do you have room for two?" And everyone said, "Nope, sorry." And says, "Okay, thanks." And then, "Hi, do you have room for two?" Someone would say, "Are you kidding? It's Christmas Eve. Of course not." "Oh, okay, thanks." It went all the way through, all the way through, all the way through until we found one. And what I saw in that moment is how he basically covered 25 different calls in like 15 minutes. And I was like, whoa, the idea of curating things into a list and ripping through that list. Well, that's what we agents do in the contact center. They have lists or queues and they're, ripping through their lists. But then here you are in the supervisors. You're like, okay, I think I'll coach John. Yeah, okay, let's see what John's QA scores are. Okay, well, that one's a little low, so I'll coach that one. So it's the opposite of how we've set up our organizations to be highly efficient. So what if we could take the idea of lists and make and organize our coachable calls in that way? Well, what are some of the best lists that we've ever invented in technology? It's inboxes, it's email. Think about how, when you have an email, you have all these different things that are queued up and you can rip through it and really quickly review the emails you want to go to or the emails you don't. And imagine, by the way, if you didn't have to get back to every email. It's not like every email that comes in, you have to reply. You can say, nope, don't want to get back to that. Don't want to get back to that. Well, we realize that sort of interface could be really powerful for coaching. So I want to show you all here a live demo so we can start to bridge these concepts of how do we show you which calls to coach to lean into the human strengths of relationships, context, and experience, and how do we organize them for you in a way that allows you to rip through these calls super quickly to speed up your coaching and allow you to do more coaching, allow you to do more coaching to overall improve your performance. That's the thread that we just started today. And now I'm going to share my screen and we'll dig into the demo. Folks should now see a tab in Balto we call coaching. And if you've been a Balto customer for a while, one of the things that you might have noticed is that we actually rearranged how we organize the different tabs in Balto Cloud. Balto Cloud is the interface where you go in and you log in as a manager or supervisor or executive or compliance leader or quality leader. That's for the back office, not for the front line. And what we did is we rearranged it based on the key things that you might be looking for. We want to make it really simple. So you want insights in your business and how people, things to help you make better business decisions. Well, we create a tab called Insights. You want to do coaching? Well, you go to coaching. You want to do compliance and check all the calls for compliance and have 100% of your compliance defects aggregated in one spot? You go to compliance. You're trying to do QA scores and look at QA stuff? You go to quality. Trying to guide agents in real time, you go to guidance. You're trying to help agents set up automated notes to reduce their after call work, you go to notes. So you can see how we're trying to make it really simple so you know where to go. So you're trying to do coaching. We want to make this coaching tab. That's your home base. And when you come in, you first start, it'll actually tell you, hey, add your agents. Please do it. Please do it. It'll say, do you want to add your agents? And sometimes people go skip. I'll figure that out later. I just want to see this coaching thing. No, add your agents. Because if you do it up front, you won't have to do it again. Your agents on your team are saved up here. And then it'll be able to give you insights about those agents. So if you skipped it already, no problem. You can come in and click add an agent and start adding them to your team. If you haven't skipped it, nice. When that thing comes up, do it. I promise it's worth it. Okay. So now we're going to dig into the idea of how do you find coachable calls? Well, we have the ability at Balto to find calls that meet a certain question or have a certain thing you're working on right here at your fingertips. And you can just type in the thing that you want to improve the agent on. So you'll notice I have Marc, myself, selected as the agent. I have this date range here, which I think I've made calls in that date range. And I can come in here and say, and by the way, you have different kind of easy questions down here. So if I want to just like be lazy and be like, let me choose one of the standard sales questions. Did Marc articulate the value proposition? Yeah, sounds good. Click. And notice how it fills in the box. Your recent questions, when you type it in, get saved here. So you kind of have like your favorites, if you will. But I'm going to do, kind of a one-off and say, did Marc build up the value of the solution before giving pricing? And hit generate. And now it is looking through the state range, finding the calls that match that focus, looking for different areas where I can improve. And I think actually I need to change my date range. So let's do this again. Finding calls that match that coaching focus, looking for specific areas to improve. Oh no, don't contain examples of this coaching focus. So maybe none of the calls actually meet that criteria. Let me try one more. And let's just say, did Marc mention pricing? Let's try that. So it's querying the calls, looking for this information. And by the way, folks, this is the live demo. We love demoing live. And the reason we love demoing live is because it's real. Like, that we're not sitting here showing you some video that I recorded 3 days ago and that I got all the buttons to work in the perfect sequence. Like, you're seeing the actual, like, what it's like to be a user. And turns out that question didn't have any particular calls that were coachable. So it said, sorry, didn't find anything. But when I typed in, did Marc mention pricing? It did find one. It did find one where pricing was not mentioned at all. Here's a call. There was 4 minutes, 29 seconds. There was no mention of pricing. The entire conversation focused on the product functionality, integration, technical details, rather than pricing details. So the AI is answering the question, giving me its analysis of what it found. Super cool. So I can now actually right here, think about that kind of inbox view, the ability to rapid fire. I can right here listen to the call. I can jump to the moment. By the way, do you see what just happened here? Where I may have skipped what I need to do. I did. So I heard that from you.
Yeah.
So here I am toward the end of the call with an opportunity to mention pricing. And I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing it on this call. So that's exactly how you speed up this workflow. You're not sitting here listening to random calls, hoping that you find one that's useful. You're not sitting there starting at minute 0 and just listening to the entire call and listening to me to skip pricing. You're able to jump right to the moment where that's relevant. So, and then notice it'll scroll down and show you the transcript as you go through. You can even listen to it at 2x to go even faster. It's funny. I'll give you all kind of a little bit of like inside baseball. We did this thing where we started with the default at 1.25x because we wanted to try to make everybody a little bit faster. And we thought if we made it 1.25x, people wouldn't really notice, but they would still be faster. Turns out a lot of people said, hey, it's weird that your default is 1.25x, make it 1x, fine. But you get the gist. Like, push yourself, try to go a little bit faster if you can, because that 1.25 difference means you're able to coach 25% more calls. That's the difference of 1.25 versus 1, and 2x would be twice as many calls. All right, you get the gist. So I can now come in here and write a coaching note. And I can say, hey, Marc, great job building value and discussing functionality plus integrations. Definitely want to make sure we don't end the call without discussing pricing. Well, there we go. Please review and look toward the end. You had a chance to bring up pricing. I'm doing a full coaching note here. And set a next step. But you ended the call a bit too soft. All right. So that's, by the way, I think about the coaching advice I would give myself in that moment. So boom, you add the note. The note is now affixed to the call. So I have it right here. And one of the really cool things we've done with AI coaching is that if multiple calls meet this particular criteria, if multiple calls in this case didn't mention pricing, let's say I only didn't do it once, then it'll actually show you the grouping of calls. And that's really important because we know that a lot of times agents can feel trapped with coaching. They say, well, that only happened once and you're coaching me on the one time I forgot it. Like, I actually get that. I really empathize. And it looks like, by the way, it's almost what I'm doing here. But when the thing is relevant to multiple calls, you'll actually see a series of them. So you can kind of run through and coach multiple calls at once and say, yep, price not discussed here, here, and here. Mark, look, here's 3 times you didn't do it. This seems to be a pattern, something you can improve on. So really cool. You're able to coach a cluster of calls all at once, not just a single call at a time. So now where does that go? Where does that go? And the agent who is using Balto, it will actually go to them in their agent app. So I'll share my agent app and show you an example of coaching I've received. And looks like on June 5th in this example, and I'm pulling up the agent app, this is where the agent lives. So they're able to get guidance on their call to help them be more effective while they're on the call. If customers have a question, it'll automatically pop the answer. If you want to know, it looks like I recently asked what kind of integration we have with Zoom, and it looks like we have a connector integration. So you can kind of like use this to get really awesome, intelligent answers right there when you're on the call. Well, one of your opportunities here is in coaching. And when the agent gets a coaching opportunity, they'll actually get a little red notification in their agent app. And I don't think that pops up if you coach yourself. So you have to coach someone else in order to get the notification. You get a little red notification in your agent app that says, hey, ding, ding, you got some coaching from your supervisor. And then when you click into it, there's the transcript available, and you can actually see exactly what happened. You can see the notes from your supervisor, and the agent will even have the ability to listen to the call recording. We actually released that yesterday. So now when you're releasing new coaching feedback, the agent can right there from their app listen to the call recording, see what the AI said. Agent didn't mention price at any point in this conversation. This admission is a coaching opportunity. So you can see what the AI said, you see what the supervisor said, and you can listen to the call recording right there in the agent app. So you can see that we're actually building like a different model of coaching. Like, yes, you absolutely can bring the agent into your office or join a virtual meeting together, a Zoom or Teams or whatever. You can do that, and you can hit play together and listen to it and write down your coaching note. You totally can do that. And with Balto, you can now coach asynchronously. So it's not like, let me find a time where, Marc's about to go on break, where maybe his results are a little bit down, and maybe I can catch him 15 minutes for his break and squeeze in a coaching there. Or maybe I'm going to have to take him out of the queue and, just bite the bullet there, even though it's a busy day. Like, you don't have to do that. You can actually coach asynchronously, send that coach to Marc, and Marc will be able to see it on his own time whenever he's able to. From here, I'm actually able to acknowledge the coaching. So I can actually, come in and say, yes, I acknowledge it. This coaching was received. Thank you. And I can click a button, and we just built that as well. And then I can even comment back. Looks like I did that a previous time here. Hey, got it. This was a little bit of a one-off, but I'll nail it next time. So you can see the total workflow where the supervisor is delivering the coaching, the agent's able to review it, listen to the call right there in the app. They can acknowledge it, and then you see that in your inbox, and the agent can write a comment back, so you're able to hear or see what they saw. So I'm going to go back to the Balto coaching for a minute and show you how does this fit into your workflow, right? Like, we saw how you actually deliver a coaching session, which is great, but then how do you fit this into your day? Well, what we've done is we have actually taken all of the coaching feedback and integrated it here into an easy inbox. So when a coaching opportunity comes up, ultimately what you really want to do is you want to send that feedback to the agent. So I did, everything. I left a comment. Actually, that's why it didn't show up, is I didn't hit send to agent. There you go. So now it just sent it to me, and I have it in my agent app there, and that's done. That's queued. That's done out of my inbox, and that moves over here to archive. So if it still needs to be sent or reviewed by you, it's going to be in your inbox. If it's already sent to the agent, it goes to archive, and you can see here that it hasn't yet been acknowledged by the agent. Not acknowledged, not acknowledged. So I can kind of see, where am I sending out coaching and I haven't gotten results back. So think about how much faster this is versus like having to go into agent by agent and kind of like check up on each individual coaching session. All available right here. Acknowledge, no, 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 no. And this is showing that you reviewed the call. So we've organized it into this easy inbox, and you can rapid fire go through these opportunities. Not only are you able to create them yourself up here, but you have 2 other options to create opportunities for things to go in your inbox. So one is you can create them yourself. The second is you can actually set up coaching opportunities at scale. So if you are the contact center owner or the operations leader, you can say, hey, every single time an agent misses this, I want you to send it to their supervisor's inbox for coaching. Every single time the agent doesn't confirm that both spouses need to be present at the meeting, I want you to send it to the coach's inbox so they can coach on that. Every single time where the agent doesn't confirm that the customer has fully answered all of their questions today, send it to the supervisor's inbox for coaching. So you can actually do that sort of coaching at scale and have it automatically go in your inbox. So the first way is you can generate it. The second way is you can send it to the inbox automatically through a custom way. And the third is Balto is automatically scanning all of your interactions for what we call notable calls. Very simply, notable calls are calls with very high sentiment or very low sentiment, but extreme sentiment in either direction. Why is that? Why are we taking that and saying the coaching inbox? Because in almost every situation, it is useful for you to coach on that. If it's very high sentiment and the agent did great, awesome, congratulate that, reinforce them. If it's very low sentiment and the agent did great, still congratulate them. Whoa, you had a really frustrated customer, but you did all the things right. Keep your head up, you're doing great. If it's very low sentiment and the agent did poorly, then you want to know that too. So in every instance, extreme sentiment tends to be something that's coachable. And if you want to dismiss it, you can just hit the dismiss button. It'll go away. But this is, you'll see it here, and the title will say notable call or notable calls if there's multiple that fit that criteria. So you're able to see here how we've turned something that tends to be like find an agent, click the agent, find the QA score, click the QA score, listen to the full call, think about something to coach on. We've turned it into like, boom, come in, listen, coach. Hey, Claudia. Thanks for tackling this. Add your note, send it. Out of the inbox. Looks like the agent did everything right here. Dismiss it. We're good. Looks like agent need to be more proactive. Follow up. This is a solid lead. Add note. Send. Like this is the sort of speed that we've turned coaching into. So this is the foundation of Balto coaching, and I'll give everyone 2 nuggets about where this is going. The first is, imagine you come in here and you deliver some coaching feedback. We're going to have a little box that pops up for you, and that box will say, have the AI coach on this in the future. So what we're doing there, and you can check the box and say, yep, I want AI to coach on this. What we're doing there is, wait a minute, you already told us what you care about with your question. You wrote in your coaching notes for what you wanted the agent to do better. Well, why don't we have AI look at that And every single time on a call in the future that opportunity is really, really relevant, automatically tell the agent in their agent app, hey, remember that thing your manager coached you on, making sure you don't have negative sentiment, and you said really make sure your sentiment's better in the future. Well, we actually looked at that and found you need to improve that on this call. The AI will do that automatically. So you, as the supervisor, are able to basically have an AI agent that you hit a button and it goes off and continues to coach the agent on the specific skill that you specified. We have that coming up. The second thing I'll mention to everybody is that our insights module pairs really nicely with coaching. And this allows you to get data on how your organization is doing overall. So you can come into insights, last 60 days, I'm going to choose our sales org, last 60 days, and I can go into customer service and say, what's preventing agents from successfully resolving customers' issues? And I can then hit find answer. It'll take about 1 to 2 minutes, and it'll look through like hundreds or thousands of interactions and then give you back data on what's happening there. So you can see how not only are you able to, on the ground, have supervisors do really effective coaching with your agents, you're also able to say, as an organization, as a whole, where are we getting stuck? Where are our opportunities? So those are two powers that you have in Balto. I interviewed a customer about this capability just the other day, and they said Insights has been the single biggest game changer that they've introduced with their customers. They're outsourced, their BPO. The single biggest game changer they've had their customers like in the last year. Really, really cool stuff. Really excited about all the different modules that we built. And let me wrap this up for you guys here. I'm going to share my screen one more time and give you all an offer. The offer: send us 50 calls. We have the ability to ingest your call recordings, and we'll do it for free. So if you're not a Balto customer, send us these 50 calls. If you are, we can still help you out. Happy to. Send us 50 calls. We'll analyze them for free. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the AI pick out your coachable calls based on whatever you care about, so you can see how that works. And we're going to run the insights module and say, what are your 1 to 2 biggest opportunities, coaching opportunities across your entire front line? What is coming up most often? And you can actually access that right here. There's a QR code right there in front of you. That's the way to do it. Folks, thank you so much for your time. Really enjoyed it. I will open it up for questions in case we have any, and we can do Q&A. But really enjoyed the demo and happy to stay on for anyone who has questions.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions. I just wanted to pop in and say I'll start pinning them to the screen, and Mark, you can answer them, and I'll switch them out as we go.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Erica asks, is there any way to create a coaching for multiple agents at once? Right now, we can only select one at a time. Erica, awesome question. That's going to be that second way that I mentioned, right? Where the first is you kind of go in, you type something in the box, and you automatically create a coaching session. The second is doing it at scale. So in order to do that, you're going to want to talk to your customer success manager, and it'll look through all those interactions where that thing is relevant, and we'll put coaching sessions in the inbox right there at scale. And the reason that we say talk to your CSM is because when you're doing anything with AI at a massive scale, you really want to get it right. Like imagine if you said like, did the agent say hi? And then now every supervisor has 50 coaching opportunities where the agent didn't say hi. And you're like, oh my God, everyone's inboxes are flooded. So you want some expertise to help you with that when you do things at scale, but we can totally make that happen for you. And Marie, thank you so much for the kind feedback. I appreciate it. From Corey, do agents see the AI coaching notes in addition to the analyst notes? Yes, they do. That was actually some really good feedback we got from our customers. Originally, we didn't have that, but what we found is that like the AI and the supervisor like kind of played off each other really well. And one of the things supervisors love to say is, see AI, see what the AI said. And by the way, also do this thing too. So hopefully that'll actually help you save time And if you're actually coaching on that, it means the AI did something right. Great question, Corey. Thank you. Now from Audra. Can everybody in the Balto Command Center see the coaching forms that were submitted? Very interesting. So I think what's funny, Audra, is we actually have a specific kind of feature of Balto called Command Center. So I think you're not talking about that. I think you're talking about kind of the Balto cloud experience. And the answer broadly is no. Like the answer is that whatever agents you have selected, those agents go into the inbox. If you, so just make sure that you're selecting the agents on your particular team. And then also there is reporting that we released yesterday that shows, which supervisors and how often they're coaching, how, much coaching they're actually finishing. So how many coaching sessions are they starting? How many are they finishing? And how many agents acknowledging? And we released that report just yesterday. It is in the reporting tab on Balto Cloud. So the answer is like broadly no, but if someone goes in and starts adding other agents that's not on their team, then that will pop up in their inbox. So if that's something that you need us to help you with, we're happy to help you make sure that's configured appropriately. Great question. Thank you. From Don. Can you get the coaching to look at a specific playbook when you do your search? Interesting. I think, let me actually see. I can't remember. So let me go into coaching for a minute. Okay. You ready for this? I'll share my screen. And I remember what we were thinking about on this. Right? You should see coaching again. So one of the things that we wanted to do in building out coaching is make it really easy for someone who doesn't know crap about Balto. Like if you don't know how Balto works and you haven't set up playbooks or you don't understand that, like we want to make, or you're not thinking about how to set up the right filters, like we give you the ability to do some filtering. We want to make it really easy for someone who doesn't know the Balto system yet to jump in and do coaching. So what we ended up deciding on is making the prompts smart enough. You can specify in the prompt the type of call you want. So I could say for an inbound call where the customer is asking about a refund, did the agent first ask them to elaborate? So where, Don, I think what you're getting at is how do you kind of get only a selection of calls? What we've done is said, you know what, rather than use the playbooks where you kind of have to know what's going on, you have to know the Balto world, let's make it easy and just say, use your words. So that's the approach we've taken. Would love to hear more thoughts and feedback from you and hear how that works for you. All right. I saw one more from Ruben. Thank you, Ruben. This is amazing as a coaching tool. Is this only for calls or could be implemented for chat and email as well? Thank you so much for that. This tool today is only calls. We have chat and email coming in Q3 of this year. So we're building it all out. We actually have the ability to ingest emails right now, but we're like trying to flesh it out and make it nice and make sure it's really awesome. We don't just want it to be like, like dumb and say, oh, it's a call, but it's an email. So we're really going to get that experience right, but that's coming this year. So you don't have it today. Right now, it's just calls. But this year, you will get chat, email, and I believe even text message. And those data sources will actually work across all of Balto. So it'll work for coaching. You'll be able to do compliance on them, be able to do quality on them, be able to do insights on them, and you'll be able to select. I want to do coaching on emails. I want to do coaching on text, or I want to do coaching on all of them. I don't care. So we're going to really build that full omni-channel capability into Balto in the next few months. Awesome question. Thank you.
All right, that's it for questions. Thank you, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you, Kimberly. And I will leave this up one more time in case you missed it, in case you didn't want it and changed your mind, and now you're so compelled, feel free to hit that QR code. By the way, that is my real email and phone number. So respect it, but hit me up. Like, honestly, if you text me and you say, hey, I was just on your webinar, sounds great. Love to hear from you. Totally good. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a great Wednesday.